Dear students, today we are going to discuss about an important poem, Evidence of Genocide, written by Zulifqar Ghose. We are going to do the title analysis. We are going to learn about the form and structure of this poem. We are also going to analyze this poem. We are also going to discuss the major themes portrayed by Zulifqar Ghose in Evidence of Genocide. Dear student, the title of the poem, Evidence of Genocide, is very important because it is truly reflecting the subject matter of the poem. The word genocide means mass killing or wiping out the whole generation. The poem is called Evidence of this mass killing and large-scale destruction. Zulifqar Ghose chooses to write in free verse, which gives him the freedom to express his views without any restriction of meter and rhyming scheme. This poem, Evidence of Genocide, is written without any arrangement of stanzas and meter. The poem is running free-flowingly without any rhythmical structure. The language of the poem is very simple and comprehensible, and the ideas are conveyed in a very simple way. Dear students, now we are going to discuss about the summary of the Evidence of Genocide written by Zulifqar Ghose. As the poem begins, Zulifqar Ghose is contemplating on the condition of his village, where his mother lies buried, and there is desolation and destruction everywhere. The house is shuttered, and everything inside the house and its room is in a scattered position. Everything is messed up. Empty rooms suggests that the people residing there have departed, means that either they have migrated from there or they have died. Then the poet talks about the weeds that have grown larger than the normal, and no one is there to trim them down. Actually, the poet is talking about the death and destruction that is caused by the war. War has created so much rift and tension in the atmosphere that caused havoc with people's life and even with the natural surroundings. Now there are some nostalgic points about the past that are depicted in the poem. The poet Zulifqar Ghose is remembering his past days that he has spent in the village, which is now shuttered and scattered. People in the past time were so kind and respectful to each other. They used to talk to each other in order to share their griefs and pleasure. But now that wave of harmony, unity, and peace is no more to urge people to stop and chat. But now there is no sound to penetrate their calm. This line is showing the painful condition that in spite of the great hustle and bustle, man is aloof. He has no time to bother about the cares and worries of the people. And in the very next line, Zulifqar Ghose is depicting the cruelties of war. He's talking about the smoke that is rising from 100 fires, means everywhere there is chaos, death, and destruction prevailing due to war. Even the soldiers are shouting and laughing at the death of those people whose names they have never known or cared even to know. This is showing the negativity of war, that war has created so much negative effects on the human minds that people are not aware of the fact that why they are fighting and killing each other. This same concept is also presented by G.B. Shaw in his play Arms and the Man. In Arms and the Man, he talks about the cruelty of war and says that 8 out of 10 people do not know for whom they are fighting and why. This trait of waging a war on humans make them crueler than animals. Mark Twain, an important American writer, calls men cruel than animals because of the traits of waging a war. Another nostalgic note is when the poet talks about the stream that has also changed since he was born. It does not move in a steady flow, rather it becomes like a thick fluid that is gradually going to stop. Symbolically, stream and its water is a symbol of life to plants, animals, and human. but this life is no more steadily flowing in this poem, Evidence of Genocides. The villagers who were its inhabitants no longer live there. They have died or have departed to other places. People have to leave their houses forcefully. The trees and the birds also have departed, and their songs seem to be a matter of the past. They do not seem to sing their beautiful songs. Now the poet is moving towards the effects of war. The air is filled with the heavy odor of dead bodies that are burnt naked. The heavy odor of air that is filled with dead bodies is also accompanied by the smoke that is rising from fields and empty homes. Empty homes suggest a level of destruction and havoc that is resulted due to war. The very last line of this poem is also taking the attention of the reader that there is ample evidence of genocide, means mass killing on a large scale. But no one cares about this mass destruction or is ready to take the blame. The killers are freely moving in the mountain, enjoying their lives. It is because no one is there to ask about this mass killing. Dear students, now we are going to discuss the themes found in the writing of Evidence of Genocide, which is written by Zulifqar Ghose. The destruction of war and the effects of war are very much eminent in the writing. The nostalgia of the past is also very evidently found in Evidence of Genocide. There are some dresses in the poem which are quite autobiographical, and like other major poems of Zulifqar Ghose, a strong sense of belongingness is reflected in the theme of nostalgia. At the very start of the poem, the speaker is remembering the days of his childhood in which the people were living in harmony. The poet Zulifqar Ghose says, "When people stopped to chat in the bazaars, children played cricket on flattened earth, and women washed clothes in the nearby stream." So these lines shows that the people in the past used to live in a harmonious way. Secondly, the theme of war is the main theme of this poem. The whole poem is concerned with the qualities of the war and the effects of war. Human history is full of wars that were waged on the petty issues. The world has to witness world wars that have caused large-scale destruction. Mark Twain, an important American writer, calls man cruel than animals because of the trait of waging a war. Zulifqar Ghose says in the Evidence of Genocide, "You will see smoke rising from 100 fires, and hear the soldiers' laughter and shouts in jubilation at the death of some, whose name they never knew or cared to know." War has so many negative effects on the human mind that people are not aware of the fact that they are fighting and what is the purpose of the fight. They even do not know the person who they are fighting. Thirdly, the poem is a great reflection of the power of death. The speaker of the poem is lamenting over the desolation and destruction because death has overcome life. As Zulifqar Ghose writes in the poem, "Now the air is heavy with the stench of death that rises from the fields and homes." These lines show that death has become a powerful entity which is now overcoming the glorious life of many people. Another important theme is the hypocrisy of man. The speaker of the poem also mourns over the hypocrisy and moral degeneration of the man who can play the role to stop the genocide. Zulifqar Ghose writes, "Yes, there is ample evidence of genocide, but no one seems to care or take the blame. The killers roam free in the fields and mountains, while the victims perish faceless and unnamed." Another important theme which is portrayed by Zulifqar Ghose in his poem Evidence of Genocide is displacement. When the poet talks about the stream and its life giving water. Water here is a symbol of life that trickles because of destruction, hypocrisy, and corruption. People have to leave their houses forcefully. People, willingly or unwillingly, have to bear this loss of their native place, and this all was the result of war. This theme is very much obvious when the poet uses these lines. The villagers who drank from it before have all moved away, or else they are dead. So, class, this is the overall summary and thematic analysis of an important poem, Evidence of Genocide, which is written by Zulifqar Ghose.